Wow, can you guys believe that it has been 1 year of full-time limit theory development already? I find that very hard to believe, but nonetheless, this is Josh, and I am here with your 12th limit theory development update. That is your first annual LT Dev update, and hopefully also last annual LT Dev update. Cross your fingers. So today we have a lot of cool new stuff on a lot of different fronts to get through, and I'm very, very excited about all of it, but there's no time for formalities, no time to waste time. Let's get right down to brass tacks. Let's talk about graphics. In the background, I want to draw your attention to these lovely nebulas. I'm sure your attention was already there. But let me point out that they are significantly brighter than before, and I don't just mean like white brighter, I mean like shining brightly, you know what I mean? Yes, that's because the backgrounds are now generated and rendered in high dynamic range, and that is, to be fair, something that always should have been the case, but has not been the case until this month. My bad, I corrected that error, and it looks a whole lot better. I can't believe the difference it makes. You see how the light from the nebula now just kind of shines through the dust? That's because it's actually emitting light, a lot more than before. And the effect is subtle but amazing, if I do say so myself. Can I say so? Yes. Very exciting. I love that. But on top of that, I've been improving the nebula generator, ye old nebula generator, which is like the centerpiece of this game pretty much. And it looks consistently a lot better, which is really awesome because it means the systems look consistently good, which I'm very excited about. But not too excited about because we need to talk about metal. At this point, it's pretty much an LT trope for me to tell you, oh, the metal looks better. But really, the metal does look better. Can you tell? I hope you can tell because I spent a lot of time on implementing some new fancy mathematical model or what have you. But really, it does look very cool. And that plus the fact that the HDR environment map is now reflecting off of it is like, ooh, shiny. Seriously, shinier than ever before. So that's exciting, but not as exciting as the motion-related effects that I'm about to show you. So I wasn't very satisfied with how moving felt in this game. And I've tried to up the ante a little bit with respect to making motion feel significant. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Because we're moving right now, and you've got these flecks of dust flying by, you've got these clouds getting in your face. It feels like we're moving, doesn't it? For the first time ever, we are moving in limit theory. Breaking news. Very exciting stuff. But seriously, it did take a long time to implement that. But I'm excited about it. Motion just feels so much more significant. I really enjoy the feeling of like moving through space now. It's very gratifying in some sense, even though these effects aren't that, obtrusive. They're kind of subtle, but they're nice, and I'm very happy with them. So I'm just gonna fly around a little bit and let you get a feel for the new LT motion effects. Very fun. I'm actually trying to catch up with these NPCs in the distance, but they've got their cruise drives on and they've got a big head start, so I'm probably just gonna turn back. Let's head back to the station and we'll catch up with them later when they come back. This system is a little more sparse than the one from last dev update, and that is actually not because there are less NPCs, it's because some of the NPCs are docked inside the station doing research, which is kind of cool. I'm speeding up time, by the way, because I don't want to wait forever to get back. And then there's this one guy sitting outside being like, well, I'm just going to be lazy. That's fine. So, I want to talk about dynamic lighting. Can you see the reflections on the station as those pulses fly by? Yes, that was there before. No, it was not nearly as good, fast, or high quality. Good and high quality are kind of the same thing. Kind of fudged that one. But it's much better now. It's much faster, and the main thing I'm excited about is, yes, it looks a lot better, especially with the new metal shader, but also it can support a lot more lights with a lot higher performance. So I'm going to start playing around with stuff like lights on stations, lights on ships, and hopefully get some more photons flowing through this universe, because sometimes it can be a little dark, as people have pointed out so many times to me. So let's get some lights. Very good. Time to move on to UI. That's a lot of graphics stuff, right? That's a lot of graphics for 1 month, but we need to move to UI because as you know, the node-based UI has got a lot of people excited, and me even more excited. So I want to show you what I've been working on. A lot of different functionality pieces, but the thing I'm going to open with is the holographic 3D rendering that I have embedded into the node-based UI. Welcome to the new ship viewer interface. This is where you check the status of your ship, even though there's no status right now. This is where you configure your hardpoints, even though you can't configure your hardpoints yet. Nonetheless, it is shiny, it is cool, because you can actually see your hardpoints as they are on the ship. You can see your equipment. You can also access your inventory from the same screen. This is your one true ship viewer. And it's much better than it was before. If you remember, like the panel, and it was awkward, let's face it. But now it's not, because I'm literally seeing these holographic hardpoints as they exist on my ship, which is great. It's intuitive, it's fast, and it's pretty. And this is totally a side effect of the new node-based interface and the functionality that I'm building into it. It's not a special interface. This is not special in any way. It's just a routine, very easily coded interface based on the new functionality. Now I'm going to show you that I can adjust the opacity of this interface, because I'm sure some of you are worried about like visibility. Personally, I really like how this is just a very thin overlay on top of the world, so I like to keep my opacity pretty low. I like to pretty much see through to the world and just kind of have the interface be this thin overlay as it is now. But if that doesn't work for you, you can make it, you know, a lot darker, as I just showed. So yeah, I'm playing with making the 3D kind of a more integral component of this UI. Right now I'm actually navigating with the gamepad, so again, alternate input devices, good to go. Not as easy as a mouse, but still pretty easy. In the future, you'll be able to configure your hardpoints from this screen. So yeah, we should look forward to that, and you can already look at your inventory. I really like it. It beats the heck out of the old hardpoint interface. And again, it's basically free. I mean, this took almost no code once the node-based UI could support that. Whoa, what did I just do? Now we have 2 black diamondbacks. Everybody knows that 2 black diamondbacks are better than 1. And the reason we have 2 is because I'm also working on implementing split screening, which is really a great thing for a full screen UI, right? This is basically the replacement for arbitrary windowing. I just feel that it makes more sense to split panels. So you can open whatever interfaces you like in each of these panels, and you can split it as many times as you want. Because what's better than 2 black diamondbacks? 5 of them, right? And so this opens up a lot of potential for stuff like drag and drop interactions and yeah, basically drag and drop interactions. But there could be a lot of potential for those in and of themselves. So stuff like transferring cargo yeah, transferring cargo. Anyway, maybe I oversold the importance of that split screen, but I'm pretty sure that it's going to be a big deal. And a few people were asking about that last time, like how would you do that? You know, how would you interact between windows in a full screen UI? Well, there's your answer. And in the future, it'll support horizontal as well as vertical splits, not just vertical. Okay, next up, I want to show the star map. This is adapted from the star map that you saw last time. This is just the system, and you can see each of these nodes corresponds to an object, and when I drill down into them this time, I can actually see the 3D model. This is basically the same type of node as the ship viewer that I just showed you. You know, so if I actually go into my ship from the system map, I will get essentially the same view of my ship. So everything, again, with the node-based UI, everything's really kind of integrated, which is cool. It's a nice bonus. Next piece of functionality that I want to show you is categorical filtering. But first, I want to play around with split screening again, I guess. Yeah, okay, sure. Why not? So, now I have a functionality whereby the nodes can expose their type or category, and then we can automatically create filter groups and automatically filter the interface based on those groups. So if you look in the bottom left, you can see that I've toggled a filter on ships. So now I'm looking at the system map, but I'm only seeing ship nodes. You can see these AI guys are actually on their way back to the station, it looks like. Slowly but surely. And I can see station, asteroids, and before that, jump nodes. So that's with no filter. So the cool thing about this, as I keep repeating with respect to this interface, is that that kind of functionality is totally automatic. You know, now that I've built that in, it works for any interface wherein the nodes expose their category. So it works as well for the ship hardpoint interface. So I'll show you that. I can filter on the type of my nodes, on the type of my hardpoints, excuse me. So I've got thrusters, scanner, generator, and weapons, of course. So that's cool. So basically, again, once you learn how to use one of these interfaces, you've basically learned how to use all of them, because they all expose that kind of same functionality, which is really neat. You know, anywhere there are nodes and categories, you know that you can press so-and-so button to filter the different categories, which is neat, but not half as neat as the artificial intelligence that has developed this month. So yeah, let's transition into that. Enough UI, and I'm gonna kind of harass this guy as he's on his way home, presumably from mining. If you're wondering about that big sphere, that's the placeholder model for a transfer unit, which is what's used to mine. It's kind of ugly, but the point is that it lets me know that he's equipped a transfer unit, which is important for me to know. Anyway, so last month, as you know, I did a lot of work on AI, and this month I also did a lot of work on AI, except most of my work this time was not rewriting, thank goodness. It was actually implementing new stuff. So the concept with which I've been really duking it out for the past few weeks is what I call delegation. And it's very simple. It means that the AI understands how to use other people. It understands how to take advantage and employ other people in executing its plans. Now, this is a very simple concept, very obvious to humans, but very, very fundamental to a lot of cool gameplay potentials that we're going to see and that I'm going to discuss. And honestly, I feel one of the most critical parts of the LTAI is this delegation ability. So I'm going to open the station node. I can't dock at it just yet, so I just want to open it from the map. I'm going to show you. Right now all I've got is an inventory and a contract board, but ooh, contract board, what's that? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a moment. I'll show you the inventory real quick. There's not too much exciting going on there. Some people were wondering how we can lay out, you know, like essentially list type structures with this type of interface, and there are a plethora of ways that we could do that. Right now I've just opted for some kind of grid thing. You can see the actual models are embedded in there, and in the future there'll be like details of each of those items. This isn't really the most intuitive layout. I'm going to keep pushing forward with it. This certainly isn't the final iteration, but for now it'll do. But here's the real piece of interest, the contract board. What is a contract board? Well, it's a mission board. I just like to get fancy and call missions contracts. But what's cool is here you can see these different requests, and these are requests that NPCs have posted. Now, these are not generated, they're not procedural, they're real. They've been posted by the NPCs, and the idea is that an NPC is stating that it needs something and that it's willing to pay a certain amount for it. Not necessarily just an item, although in this case, this is actually an item. So this is still in code speak. If you're wondering about the text, I haven't actually converted it to English yet. It's still in code form, but you should still be able to get an idea from looking at it. These requests are for the most part for research units. These NPCs have said, hey, I'm an intellectual and I'd really like to do some research on these fields. And so they said, well, to do that I need a research unit. And so they're posting requests on the contract board for research units. Now, essentially, this is a market if you think of it just in terms of items, right? Like that's what a market is. You know, you post requests, buy and sell. I'm checking. Looks like all these are for research units actually. Oh no, okay. There's some ore. So this guy needs ore. So we got some people who are interested in ore, we got other people who are interested in research units, which is neat, and that corresponds to basically the only two pieces of AI gameplay that are currently implemented, which are research and mining. So that's why we're seeing requests for research units and ore. Makes sense. But what's so cool about this is that the AI has actually calculated, like, okay, I'm going to do this part of my plan, and it would be really nice if someone else could solve this part of my plan while I'm doing such and such. And so they've taken that idea and they've transformed it into the idea of posting a contract at a station for someone to take. And they're hoping that someone will take this little piece of their plan and solve it for them so that they can carry on doing what they're doing and achieve it in less time. Now, again, what you're seeing here are requests for items, because the gameplay that's been implemented so far is fairly simplistic in terms of what the AI can do. It's pretty much all about items. In the future, you'll be seeing a lot more than just that, though, because these are not specific to items. They can encode any kind of condition about the world. So the AI can say, hey, I wish this person were dead, or hey, I wish you would repair me. You know, all those kinds of things. The AI is actually already capable of understanding and requesting. So to me, that's super cool, and it underlines, you know, a lot of what LT is about, is that it's not just random procedural stuff. It's actually real simulation going on in this universe. When you see a mission, that's because an NPC has requested that thing be done. When you take a mission, you're having an impact, you're helping an NPC achieve what they want to achieve, you're actually having an impact on the flow of plans in the world. And depending on how big of a mission it is, you know, you could be having a very significant impact on what an NPC is doing. And so we're just seeing the very early version of that, and I can't even accept the contract yet. But the neat thing, and honestly probably the hardest part of it, getting the NPC to understand that concept, is done, which to me is really exciting. And it took me a lot of head banging to get, not like the good kind of head banging, like the kind where you're smashing your head against the wall, to get that to work. As anyone who reads the devlogs can attest to, it has been a long and very bumpy road to delegation, but we are finally at the doorstep. And in the next month or two, we should be seeing a significant amount of NPC delegation, which is really where everything starts, because it creates a lot of opportunity for both the player and other NPCs, because now we're going to see NPCs working together because they can take missions for each other. We're going to see the player having potential because they can take missions as well. And yeah, to me, this is just a really fundamental feature, and I'm so happy that we have it. We're going to see a lot of exciting stuff in the future. Now, that is all I have for today. All I have. It was kind of a lot, I hope. I hope you agree. It was really a good month. But I do want to discuss one last thing on the agenda, which is, for those of you who don't keep up with the Kickstarter updates, this month I have announced a slight nudge, just a little tweak of the release date. I've changed it from being a estimated early 2014 to being an estimated mid-2014, quote unquote. Those are both very vague, but as you can see, I've still got a lot to do, especially in terms of gameplay, and I don't want to rush it. I think things are going really well. I'm really pleased with how thorough everything is coming along in LT, and I don't want to rush it, and so I feel like mid-2014 is going to be a more realistic estimate, and I apologize for that, for those of you who are looking forward to getting your hands on it very soon. I know a lot of people were. Don't worry. I'm working as hard as I can to get it in your hands, but the important thing to me is that when you do get it, it's really going to be a great game, and I hope you'll agree that it's worth waiting for that. So, I'm working as hard as I can, but mid-2014 is the new estimate, and unfortunately I cannot get more precise than that for the time being, but I will of course keep you all updated as things progress. And I hope you enjoy this update. It's been a really good year, and it's going to be a really good another year / half year, hopefully. And thanks again for making this possible. To those of you who backed, really appreciate it. To those of you who didn't back, please know that it's not possible to back anymore. You get a lot of requests. It's not possible, sorry. But thank you for your support, and thank you for your patience, and thank you for watching. I'll see you next month. Happy New Year!